I spent 40 hours creating an epic, world-spanning quest to save the kingdom from a shadow-weaving dragon god. I'm talking detailed maps, complex NPCs, heartbreaking moral dilemmas, and my players have just spent the last 3 sessions, our entire Saturday, drafting a business plan for a goblin-run artisanal cheese farm. Goblin Cheese Farm. Sound familiar? That sinking feeling in your gut when you realize your players have gleefully torched your carefully crafted plot for something completely random. It's a mix of panic and, let's be honest, a little awe at their sheer creativity, but you're worried you'll never get them back to the main adventure. First, take a breath. I know I've had to learn how to do this many times because of this one. This is not a disaster. In fact, it's a sign that your players are actually engaged and feel free in the world that you've built. That's a win, but you still have a dragon to slay. Today, what we're going to talk about is how to gently nudge your party back to the main quest without crushing their fun or making them feel like they're on rails.
Now let's get one thing straight. Your players are not trying to ruin your game. When a party goes off track, it's not a failure on anyone's part. It's a natural, sometimes beautiful part of the game, like Dungeons & Dragons. It means you've created a world so compelling that they want to explore every corner, not just parts with flashing quest markers. Sometimes it happens because the main plot hooks weren't very clear, or maybe they just didn't land with what motivates the party. Other times the main story's pacing might have slowed down and the players are just looking for something to keep the energy up. And sometimes an idea like goblin cheese is just so wonderfully weird that the table's collective imagination grabs and holds on and just refuses to let go. Your job isn't to force them back onto the predetermined path. It's to make sure their new direction actually matters. The secret is not to fight their creativity, but to harness it. You don't say no. You want to say yes and in a way that cleverly steers them back towards your original destination. It's about turning their detour into a scenic route that eventually rejoins the main highway. So let's just talk about how to do that.
Our first technique is what I call convergent evolution. The idea is simple. If the players won't come to the main quest, you have to bring the main quest to them. You take all the hard work and prep that you did for your main story, and you cleverly reskin it to fit their new, unexpected passion project.
Yeah, and let's use Ashley's Goblin Farm. You wanted them to clear out a dungeon to find a legendary artifact, right? They want to find the perfect plot of land for their goblin farming empire. So where is the most fertile, magically enriched soil in the entire kingdom? The kind of soil that will produce the most pungent, sought-after goblin cheese. You guessed it, is deep inside the very dungeon you've already prepared.
And suddenly, their goal and your goal are the same. They aren't clearing a dungeon because the plot demands it. They're clearing it because it's a necessary step in their future business plan.
You can take this even further. Maybe a rival cheese syndicate, the dreaded Kobold Creamery, is also after that land. This rival group could be a front for the minions of the main villain you wanted them to fight. Now, by competing in the artisanal cheese market, they're directly confronting the BBEG's forces. Every success they have in their business is a blow to the villain's operations. You haven't taken away their agency, you've made it their bizarre idea the most important thing happening in this world. You've just picked up your story and moved it to where it's going.
This next technique is a classic for a reason. The important NPC patron. Your players have a new, strange goal. Instead of shutting it down, have a powerful, influential, or mysterious NPC show up and take a keen interest in their little pet project. This NPC loves their idea and wants to help. They want to be an investor, a patron, or maybe even a partner.
Back to the goblin farm, right? As the party is trying to secure a loan for the goblin startup costs, a shadowy figure in a fine cloak approaches them. He introduces himself as a wealthy merchant with a passion for, well, you guessed it, exotic agriculture. He tells them their goblin cheese idea is revolutionary. He'll give them all the gold, land, and resources they need, but there's just one tiny catch. The only plot of land he owns that's suitable for goblin husbandry just so happens to be in a valley currently being terrorized by a dragon. The very same dragon that you wanted them to fight 3 sessions ago. He'll give them the deed to the land, free and clear, right? If they'll just take care of his little pest problem.
Or maybe this patron needs a very specific ingredient. To create the perfect goblin cheese, they need they need the milk of a displacer beast, or a rare fungus that only grows in the walls of that underdark temple you had planned. The NPC provides the motivation, the resources, tying their new goal directly to a quest you've already had prepared, and then they get to keep their fun idea, and you get to use your prep. The players feel validated because a powerful figure recognized their genius, and you get the story back on track. Now, before we get to our next technique, if you're finding this advice helpful and you've ever had a campaign go completely sideways, do us a favor and hit that like button. It's a free way to support the channel and helps more people find us. And please, tell us in the comments about the craziest business venture or bizarre side quest that your party has ever cooked up. We read all of them, and they give us life. And with this one over here, I bet you anything we could probably do a whole entire video on your bizarre, weird things that you've done.
You're the one that tipped a player upside down to pour a potion down their butt.
Okay.
You gave them a potion enema.
You know what? You and your brother, didn't you pig roast somebody in a bar at some point? I'm pretty sure you made your nephew cry when he was trying to DM for the first time.
Yeah, he didn't like that one.
Yeah, we've gone completely side rail here. So, after you.
Sometimes the gentlest nudge is just a reminder that the world doesn't stop because the heroes are distracted. This is the ticking clock. Your main villain here isn't just sitting in their fortress waiting for the adventurers to just show up. They are actively working towards their goals, and if the party ignores them, there will be consequences. The key here is to make those consequences personal and to have them directly impact the player's new passion project.
Let's go back to this farm. The party has spent 2 sessions negotiating trade routes for their future goblin cheese empire. They've scouted the town of Green Meadow as their primary distribution hub, and it's perfect. While they're busy haggling with their goblin employees over vacation time, the dragon they're supposed to be dealing with gets bored. It sweeps down from the mountains and burns Green Meadow to the ground.
Now, the threat is no longer an abstract problem on a quest board. It's a direct attack on their business interest. Their future profits have literally gone up in smoke. That NPC they built rapport with, the one who was going to be their main buyer, is now gone. The road that they needed for their trade route, a cratered mess.
The villain has become a tangible obstacle to their fun. You haven't told them, stop farming and go fight the dragon. You've created a situation where the most logical way to protect their new business is to go fight the dragon. This method raises the stakes and reminds players that their choices, including the choice to ignore a threat, have a real impact on the world.
Our final technique here is probably the most powerful. The personal stake. This is where you dive into your players' backstories and weave them into the main plot they're actually ignoring. A great story isn't just about what the characters do. It's about why it matters to them. Your players are happily building their goblin empire. Meanwhile, the evil cult you wanted them to investigate continues to grow in power. How do you kind of connect the two? Well, you make it personal.
Maybe the cleric in the party has a long-lost sister. She sends a desperate message delivered by a half-dead raven. She's been kidnapped. The symbol on the kidnapper's note, the very same symbol of the evil cult. Suddenly, stopping that cult isn't just another quest. It's a personal rescue mission. Is the cleric really going to keep designing cheese labels when their family's in mortal danger? I sure as hell hope not.
Or maybe the party's rogue is an orphan who grew up in a particular city. As a consequence of the party ignoring the main plot, that city now falls under the villain's control. The orphanage they grew up in is now under a tyrannical new regime. The people, places that shaped their character are now suffering because of their inaction. Now, this method hooks players on an emotional level. You aren't just threatening the world, you're threatening their world. By connecting the main plot directly to a character's history, values, or family, the motivation to engage becomes intrinsic, and it's no longer about following the DM's story. It's about fulfilling their own character's arc.
It's so important to remember the philosophy behind all of these techniques. The goal is to never punish your players or force them into a narrative corner. A practice called railroading. Railroading tells your players their choices don't matter. What we're doing here is the opposite. We're actually making their choices matter more by showing how they ripple out and affect the wider world.
Your role as the DM is to be the referee and a storyteller, not an adversary. The best approach is to have an open line of communication. Sometimes it's okay just to pause the game and have an all-out, out-of-character chat. Ask them, hey guys, are you having more fun with this goblin farm than the main quest? Be honest. If the answer is a resounding yes, then maybe the Goblin Farm is the campaign now. And you know what? That's okay. You can always adapt.
But most of the time, players just need a reason to care about the main plot again. So by using these gentle nudges, by making the main quest the most logical, profitable, or personal path forward, you guide them back without taking away their agency. You're collaborating with their creativity. You're not fighting it.
So to recap here, when your party goes off the rails, don't panic. First, try convergent evolution and then make their side quest to the path to your main quest. If that doesn't work, introduce an important NPC patron to sponsor their journey back to the plot. You can also light a fire under them with a ticking clock, showing the real-time consequences of their inaction. And for the most powerful hook here, dig into their backstories. Give them a deep personal stake in the story.
I personally like lighting a fire under their butt. Just saying.
Yes, you do.
The fact that your players feel comfortable enough to completely derail your campaign is a testament to you as a DM. You created a space for them to be creative and have fun. Your job now is just to channel that amazing energy. Work with your players, not against them, and you'll find that the story you create together is often far more epic, sometimes a little bit more hilarious, and memorable than the one that you actually planned all along. So thank you so much for watching. If you want more tips on how to level up your game, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Until next time, happy adventuring!
Rift of the Damned, Malice of Malgrad.